the thing that I really loved about our entry point into the story was about a guy who made a mistake, was defined by that mistake, and his face represented this failure that he couldn't escape from, and the only way out was to create a new face.
I'm gonna do a Mrs. Doubtfire, but with football.
Why is it so important for you, because you are co-creator and you are main actor, why is it so important for you telling the story about redemption and second opportunities?
That's a great question. I feel that it's something I always try to, like, whenever I'm like writing something or even just acting in something, I always try to figure out what the universal emotion at the center of it is. I always try to figure out, like, what's the heartbeat that we can all identify with. And if there is no universal heartbeat, it's usually an indication that I shouldn't be making it, you know, if it's for too small an audience. And I just think that when I can, with something like redemption, it's a very universal emotion, because we all fall. Nobody's journey does this, right? And nobody is always on the upward trajectory. Nobody escapes this life without scars and bruises and cuts. And that's the nature of it. You know, we all go, we've all probably done things that we regret. We all, you know, there's not probably anybody on the planet that wouldn't turn back the clock on some moment if they could. And what I just really thought was the thing that I really loved about our entry point into the story was about a guy who made a mistake, was defined by that mistake, and his face represented this failure that he couldn't escape from, and the only way out was to create a new face, right? And a new identity. And I just loved that story, and I just feel like there's a lot of heart that I feel like a lot of people are really engaging with here.
Do you also feel comfortable writing stuff, because you co-wrote Hitman? Did you feel it more personal when you co-write something?
Yeah, I feel like the thing with, I think it's always good because, like, it's a different discovery process on, sometimes when you write something, I find that story is in you and you figure out, like, you have to separate yourself a little bit from it. Like, it's hard to say I'm going to be playing this character, but because sometimes I have to write something and then figure out how I'm going to play it. I try to write the best thing possible. But I feel like one of the things that's really good is that the spirit of that thing, the thing that gets me up every morning to want to engage with it, is all in there. And I think it does help me play it better because you're putting your heart on the page. So then by the time you actually you've answered all the tough questions a lot of times when you're on the blank page, rather than trying to adapt it. Like, for me, it's a much more, there's not a lot of seams in the process. It sort of continues a bit, you know?
Glen, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. Outstanding work. Outstanding.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.